The Andes Secrets and El Dorado. Was Earth formed only a few hundred years ago? Scientists are afraid of this. Many researchers of the mysteries of our planet pay attention to the strangeness of the maps of South America until the 18th century, since they do not have the northern part of the Andes Mountains range, Copper Mountains translated from the Inca language. Claims for old map inaccuracy are not applicable in this case due to the presence of the southern Andes at the time, along with the correct imaging of the cities of present-day Peru and Ecuador, located not at all in the mountains as they are now, but on flat terrain. And this is also evidenced by the notes of the insidious conquerors of the Incas, the conquistador Francisco Pizarro, who approaching their capital, the city of Cusco, left the jungle in 1533. Now the city is located in an altitude of 3,400 meters above sea level, where of course there can no longer be tropical and equatorial forests. The situation is even clearer with the Inca city of Potosi, which has already risen to a height of 4 kilometers, since there is a drawing of the city from 1715 depicting palm trees that do not grow so high, and the silver mountain with a castle structure on top. Moreover, according to the current photo of the city, it can be seen that immediately behind the castle hill, an even larger mountain appeared, and the city is clearly elevated by this eastern part of it. In addition, the conquistadors who admired the roads of the Incas, on which, interestingly, they allegedly had nothing to ride, wrote that 4 main routes came out of Cusco with the name of the part of the empire where they led. And now, on the diagram of the Inca roads given here, they are clearly interrupted by the eastern direction, right on the map. It goes without saying that the Incas would not have thought of to build the capital and the roads to it as sky-high heights, when the east of the Andes is still full of free-flow land. The science used explaining the formation of mountains by the unilateral uplift of the continental plate due to the movement of oceanic plates. In relation to the northern part of the Andes, this interpretation clearly does not work, since the coastline of the western part of South America directly at the ocean is almost free of mountains. The rise of the city of Potosi was clearly due to the movement of mountain ranges from the continental eastern side. It is just the consideration of this movement of mountain ranges that the science used is afraid of. After all, it considers only what it sees, volcanic activity and the formation of mountains only from below, not even allowing their simultaneous formation from above. Moving mountains are indisputable proof that of their upper or shell origin. Even the geographical representations of northern Peruvian Bolivian Andes on maps is in the form of a string along the coast with peaks of more than 6 kilometers. This indicates their formation due to the bilateral compression of continental plates. Therefore, the Andes are squeezed on both sides by the western and eastern cordillera, translated from Spanish as mountain ranges. This could happen only when twisting or something like shrinking the globe itself. Specialists claim the opposite about some current expansion of the planet based on the registration of the removal of the continents of America and Africa from each other, which does not at all contradict the compression of the planet, since it's not a perfect ball, but a geoid. And indeed, how can one admit the absurdness of huge animals living in the past on a smaller planet? It was the bilateral convergence of continental shell plates that first made the bay of the current Peruvian-Chilean coast a lake, and then raised it to a height of 3.8 kilometers, which is clear from a comparison of 17th century maps with the current view of the lake, in which marine fauna and a slight salinity of water remained. In a similar way, the bay in Italy was also raised, turning it into Lake Nemi, where Caligula's sunken ships were found. The current scientific perception, which does not fit the history of Earth, from tens of thousands and not from some billion years ago, seriously believes that Caligula built huge ships inside relatively small lakes. Thus, could Lake Titicaca have arisen about only 300 years ago? The current geological science assigns this event as a statute of 100 million years, and due to its paradigm of accepting as a fact only what can be felt and seen, cannot fit into understanding the shell evolution of the Earth, and therefore is unable to explain the formation of the Table Mountains, with Mount Ayan Tepui on the site of a once large lake, Parim. Stories about the semi-mythical land of El Dorado are also connected with this disappeared lake. In the legends of the Inca people about El Dorado, it said that the untold riches of the city were so great that they decorated houses with gold and laid out roads. Its inhabitants did not need anything, not being aware of the hunger and poverty. The conquistadors were never able to find this city since it was located on the then still preserved massifs of the upper earth, hanging with their arches just above Lake Parim. The complete subsidence of the upper geological layers, supporting until then by the separate gravitational field of the upper earth, closed the lake and formed the Guiana Plateau, Guyana. Now it turns out that the Table Mountains hide the secret of El Dorado. The striking effect of waterfalls from the Table Mountains with a height of about 3 kilometers is explained by the flow of them of waters of Lake Parima, displaced by the settled massif of the upper earth and hidden under it. For the current scientific perception, the Angel Falls waterfall, the highest in the world with a continuous fall of 807 meters, is simply an inexplicable miracle. The flat appearance of the Table Mountain of Tepui is explained precisely by their upper origin as a kind of fragment of the upper continent. The formation of the Sahara also took place around the same time, suggesting a single very recent process of completing the formation of the Earth. Isn't that something? It's fascinating. This is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.